What's up, Steelers Nation? We're back! And today we have a lot to dive into about the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially after the conclusion of the 2025 NFL Draft. The team's front office, led by the energetic general manager, has been on fire lately, signing several undrafted free agents to bolster the rookie class. And honestly, there's some real talent among these guys that's got me genuinely excited. Before we get deep into breaking down these prospects, I just have to say how incredible the draft coverage was this year. We went live for every pick, broke everything down in real time, and the feedback has been unreal. Every single video hit at least 10,000 views, and the final analysis video just dropped yesterday, already blowing past 50,000 views. Huge thanks to everyone who's been along for the ride. And don't worry, the content's not slowing down anytime soon. There's a lot planned for the next few weeks, especially with rumors floating around that another significant player might be signing soon. Now, focusing on the undrafted guys the Steelers have brought in so far, it's important to note that the team still has one open roster spot, meaning more additions could be on the way. But looking at the players signed so far, it's already becoming pretty clear who might claim that final slot. Among the new faces, we've got a tight end from South Alabama, a guard from Minnesota Duluth, which yes is a Division II school, and even a left-footed kicker who's a hometown guy from Pittsburgh. We'll get into all of them, but let's just say there's already a solid picture forming of how these pieces could fit into the roster. Starting with the tight end from South Alabama, he caught 22 passes for just under 200 yards and 3 touchdowns last season. Standing at around 250 pounds, he's a big physical presence. And coming from Mobile, Alabama, the home of the Senior Bowl, you know he's been exposed to top-level competition. He'll jump into that tight end room and start making his case during rookie minicamp and the off-season program, leading up to those all-important training sessions out in Latrobe. It'll be exciting to see if he can carve out a role for himself. Then, there's the offensive lineman from Minnesota Duluth. Originally a tackle, he's expected to shift to guard at the pro level due to his arm length, which measures just under 33 inches. Even though he played against lower tier competition, his athleticism is absolutely undeniable. His pro day numbers were impressive, posting a relative athletic score over 8, which is outstanding for any undrafted prospect, let alone someone from a Division II program. Honestly, a lot of people expected the Steelers to grab an offensive lineman late in the draft to add some depth, especially with future free agency looming over some of the veterans. And speaking of that depth, it's no secret that Mac was thinking ahead when he selected Mason McCormack during the draft, planning for the potential loss of James Daniels to free agency next offseason. Ciamalo's contract is also running out soon, so even though the team feels good about Spencer Anderson, having more options ready to step in just makes sense. It's all about setting up for a smooth transition when that time comes, and the current crop of depth players looks promising. Aiden Williams, the undrafted lineman, could really make some noise if he shows up strong during the offseason program. If he develops like the team hopes, he might even find himself pushing for a starting spot down the road. Imagine that, going from undrafted free agent to starter in Pittsburgh. That would be an incredible story to watch unfold over the next few months. Switching gears a little, let's talk about the kicker situation. Ben Sauls, the left-footed kicker out of Pitt, is now part of the Steelers roster. Now, let's be real. Chris Boswell isn't going anywhere anytime soon. He's a proven commodity, but Sauls brings a lot to the table. With a strong showing in Latrobe and during the preseason games, he could absolutely lock down a spot in the NFL. Whether that's with Pittsburgh or another team that needs a kicker due to injury. Preseason injuries always happen. And if Sauls makes enough noise, someone will definitely come calling. It's all about putting good tape out there and making the most of every opportunity. Another name that has caught my eye is tight end J.J. Galbraith from South Dakota. This guy is seriously athletic. At his pro day, he posted a relative athletic score north of 8. And on the field last season, he hauled in 32 receptions for 469 yards and 4 touchdowns. Watching his tape, it's obvious he's got the tools. His 40-yard dash time was especially impressive, and even though he's lighter for a tight end at about 231 pounds, his speed and receiving ability could make him a real mismatch weapon. If he can showcase that in rookie camp and throughout the summer, he might just push his way into serious roster conversations. It's not going to be easy, though. The Steelers' tight end room is no joke, and cracking that group will require standing out as a real receiving threat. But Galbraith's got the athletic profile to make some noise if everything clicks as spring transitions into full-blown summer. And the Texas heat starts creeping in. It's a perfect time to talk football, while also mixing in a little life outside the sport. Honestly, I'm looking forward to taking my dog on long walks and catching some baseball games during weekends this summer. It's that beautiful stretch of the year where football takes a breath before the storm of training camps begins. And we get to enjoy a bit of everything. Speaking of standing out, I have to bring up Rock Taylor, the wide receiver from Memphis. This guy might not have blown anyone away with his athletic testing numbers, but man, he's a competitor. His ability to track deep balls and win contested catches is top-notch. Watching his game film, it's clear he has that strong physical style that offensive coordinator Arthur Smith loves. He's not the most explosive or the best route runner, which could limit his separation at times, but if you need someone to fight for tough catches, especially downfield or in the red zone, Rock Taylor can absolutely be that guy. He does need to prove that he can consistently create space against NFL-level defenders, but his toughness, hands, and body control give him a real shot to make a roster. Some scouts have mentioned concerns about his ability to get off press coverage, but again, when the ball is in the air, few receivers in this class compete like he does. Honestly, if I had to pick the undrafted wide receiver who feels like the safest bet to stick around based purely on reliability, Rock Taylor would be right up there. No drops during the combine workouts, strong hands, good concentration. That kind of stuff matters, especially when roster cuts get brutal later this summer. But if you're asking me who really gets me fired up among the undrafted rookies, it's Keyshawn Williams from Indiana. Williams played primarily as a slot receiver for Indiana, and let me tell you, his film from last season is something else. He was frequently used on design screens and quick hitting plays, and his burst off the line is undeniable. Beyond just the explosiveness, Williams also took reps as a punt returner, showing off his agility and field vision, which only boosts his value when it comes to fighting for a roster spot. Watching him maneuver through traffic after the catch, it's clear he has that natural ability to make defenders miss, which could be a major asset for the Steelers' offense. Last year, Williams caught 39 passes for 448 yards and found the end zone 5 times. Not eye-popping numbers at first glance, but when you consider how Indiana used him, often manufacturing touches to get the ball in his hands, it's clear the coaches trusted his playmaking. Ability at 5 feet 9 inches and about 188 pounds, he's definitely on the smaller side, but that size profile is pretty typical for slot receivers who thrive on quickness and agility rather than physical dominance. Looking at the current competition he faces in Pittsburgh, Williams will be battling it out with a couple of other guys trying to stake their claim as the team's go-to slot receiver. His versatility and special teams experience could really tip the scales in his favor, especially if the primary slot option struggles or gets injured during the offseason program. And speaking of under-the-radar signings, we absolutely cannot overlook the defensive back out of Iowa. This kid flew under the radar simply because he's not an elite athlete, but when you watch the tape, his instincts just jump off the screen. Versatility is the name of the game with him. 2 seasons ago, he was a standout nickel defender before moving to a more traditional safety role this past year. While his final season wasn't quite as strong as his previous campaign, the skills are definitely still there. The competition for the Steelers' nickel spot this offseason is going to be fierce, with 4 or 5 players in the mix. But Iowa product absolutely belongs in that conversation. His zone coverage instincts are excellent. He's a smart, dependable tackler, and he plays with the kind of discipline that coaches love. What might hold him back, though, are his average speed and explosiveness, which could limit his range in some schemes. Still, if used properly, he could carve out a valuable role, especially as a big nickel safety or a backup with strong instincts and leadership qualities. Last season, he grabbed 1 interception and broke up 2 passes, and while his numbers might not jump out, his impact on the field was bigger than the stats suggest. He was the kind of steady, reliable presence every good defense needs, and the Steelers prioritized bringing him in after the draft because they recognized that. There's a real path for him to make this team. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he ends up being one of the UDFAs who actually sticks around for the 53-man roster. Zooming out a little, if we take a look at the Steelers' overall undrafted free agent class this year, it's fair to say it deserves a solid grade. Maybe a B, maybe even higher, depending on how a few of these guys perform in camp. There's legitimate talent here. More importantly, there's opportunity. Another name to keep an eye on is the quarterback turned defensive back, Sebastian Castro. He's transitioning fully to defense now and competing for a spot in the Steelers secondary. The athleticism is there. And although it's going to be an uphill battle, players with this kind of versatility and raw ability can sometimes surprise a lot of people once the pads come on. It's also worth mentioning that Pittsburgh's roster currently stands at 89 players, meaning there's still one open spot left. It's widely believed that the team is holding that slot open for a specific purpose. Maybe to bring in a veteran, maybe to sign one more undrafted prospect, if someone intriguing becomes available. Either way, there's still a move left to be made, and when it happens, we'll be right here breaking it all down. If the team does pull the trigger on a late signing this week, it'll add yet another piece to what's shaping up to be a really strong foundation heading into training camp. The Steelers general manager deserves a ton of credit for how he's rebuilt the depth of this roster. You can feel the energy building already, and if these young players deliver on their potential, Pittsburgh could absolutely be staring down another playoff berth come January. The hunger to snap that playoff win drought is real, and the moves being made right now are a big part of laying that foundation. We'll be covering it all right here over the coming days, from rookie mini camps to OTAs to full training camp coverage. So stick with us, Steelers Nation, because the ride's just getting started. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a surprising move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL, quarterback Josh Allen has officially signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The 27-year-old former Buffalo Bills star, known for his powerful arm and dynamic playmaking ability, has agreed to a multi-year contract that will make him the face of Pittsburgh's offense moving forward. The Steelers have been searching for stability at the quarterback position ever since Ben Roethlisberger's retirement. While the team has seen glimpses of success with various quarterbacks over the past few seasons, none have managed to provide the consistency needed to contend for championships. With Allen's arrival, Pittsburgh is hoping to turn the page on its post-Big Ben era and build a potent offense around its new franchise quarterback. Josh Allen's resume speaks for itself. After being drafted by the Buffalo Bills in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft, Allen quickly developed into one of the most feared quarterbacks in the league. Over his 5 seasons with the Bills, he was named to multiple Pro Bowls and led Buffalo to several playoff appearances, including a trip to the AFC Championship game. His combination of size, mobility, and arm strength made him a nightmare for defenses, capable of making throws from anywhere on the field. The move to Pittsburgh represents a new chapter in Allen's career. The Steelers front office, led by general manager Omar Khan and head coach Mike Tomlin, has made it clear that they believe Allen is the key to returning the team to championship contention. The Steelers' offensive system will be tailored to maximize Allen's unique skills, with an emphasis on vertical passing and mobility, 2 areas where Allen excels. Pittsburgh's offense will likely see an immediate upgrade with Allen under center. The Steelers have a talented roster, including a solid offensive line, a potent running game led by Najee Harris, and a receiving core headlined by Deontay Johnson and George Pickens. With Allen's ability to stretch the field and make plays outside the pocket, Pittsburgh's offense could become one of the most dynamic in the league. This signing also has significant implications for the AFC North Division. The Steelers are set to face off against some of the league's top quarterbacks in their division, including Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens and Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals. With Allen now in the fold, Pittsburgh has a legitimate weapon to compete with these elite signal callers and challenge for the division crown. While the road to success won't be easy, the addition of Josh Allen to the Steelers represents a bold move that could have far-reaching effects on the franchise's future. If Allen can replicate the form that made him one of the NFL's top quarterbacks in Buffalo, Pittsburgh will be back in the mix as a contender in the AFC for years to come. Fans are already excited about the prospect of seeing their new star. Quarterback lead the Steelers back to glory. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.